Newsmark viewers, how are you doing? I hope you're healthy and happy. Today I will share with you again a very important report. Commanders fighting for the Russian army may be in the paranoia after the latest news, because danger of death is not only in the front line, it may be much closer than they think. Instead of a bullet or an explosion, this can come in a letter. Ibrahim Sidiyev, one of the most important men of Ramzan Kadyrov, a staunch ally of Russia, is the one who received the first letter and escaped death for now. The war between Russia and Ukraine has seen events that have caught the attention of historians. As the two countries clash, a second fight has emerged between different factions within the armies. The subfront includes Chechens who are loyal to Putin and fight for the Russian army, and Chechens who stand against Putin's imperial ambitions and fight for their honor in the Ukrainian army. So the historical disagreements between Chechens and Russians are also reflected in Russia's attempted invasion of Ukraine. But how are Chechens influencing the war? What is the critical role of Chechen commanders in the war? And with the recent assassination attempt, let me examine in details the importance of the Chechens factors of the war. So, before moving on to our report, let me make a small reminder. As the Newsmark team, we strive to bring you the latest developments in the Russia-Ukraine war. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so that you don't miss our daily reports and explanations. You know that I also read all of your comments on our videos. Please continue to share your ideas about our content with us in the comments. I forgot about that. Let's start if you're ready. Newsmark reports. So Ibrahim Sidiyev, one of the Chechen fighters loyal to Putin in Russia's war against Ukraine, was the scene of an unusual situation. What distinguished Sidiyev was from other Chechen soldiers that he served as a deputy commander of the Russian Second Corps, awarded a rank for his loyalty to Putin. Sidiyev is also hated by the Chechen people for his betrayal. A military courier delivered a letter to the Sidiyev's headquarters. Behind this seemingly quite ordinary incident was a major operation. The letter delivered to Sidiyev was poisoned. The senders of the letter planned to kill Sidiyev, one of the Putin's loyal servants, commander of the Akhmet Special Forces and deputy commander of the Second Corps. Only Sidiyev could touch the letter, which was delivered under the code Top Secret. However, thanks to the careful behavior of his advisors, Sidiyev realized at last moment that the letter was poisoned. And Batukayev and his advisors, who were with him during the assassination attempt, were hospitalized with the mild symptoms. So the assassination attempt was publicized by Chechen sources before reaching the poisoned soldiers, and a speedy recovery. Chechen official sources announced that an investigation is underway into this assassination attempt and to identify those involved. The threatening tone of the Chechen officials under Kadyrov's control was striking, and the Chechen leadership, which fervently defend Putin's invasion of Ukraine, may have been shaken by this assassination attempt. So the fact that assassins were able to get so close has raised concerns that the Chechen's leadership could be next target. Ibrahim Sidiyev was awarded the Order of Hero of Russia by Vladimir Putin himself. The assassination attempt on Sidiyev is important enough to make senior Russian generals and statesmen as nervous as Chechen leader Ramzan Kadyrov. The ability of these assassins to penetrate the most protected areas and reach their targets pose a major threat to Russia's internal security. Even though the assassination attempt against Sidiyev failed, this raises the possibility of the existence of assassination squads infiltrating Russia's military units. This means that the conflicts may break out in the Russian army and its subordinate units due to mistrust. So, it is highly likely that the Chechen soldiers fighting against Russia in the Ukrainian army are behind the assassinations of the Chechen commander Ibrahim Sidiyev, and this become the current Chechnya administration is under the Russian hegemony. The ostensibly independent state of Chechnya is actually ruled by Russia. The people of this region, which was under the Russian occupation in the past, have a deep enmity with the Russians. Despite the general anti-Russian sentiment, Chechnya's leader Ramzan Kadyrov acts as Putin's governor. Uncomfortable with the Russian hegemony and pro-Russian rule, Chechens voluntarily choose to fight on the sides of Ukraine due to their historical enmity. The Chechen troops fighting for Russia today are those under the command of Kadyrov, who collaborated with Russia in the Second Chechen-Russian War between 1999 and 2009, standing against his own people. In contrast, the Chechens fighting on the side of Ukraine are soldiers who stood against Russia and its imperial ambitions in the Chechen-Russian War and fought to preserve their independent state. For Chechens, this war is a struggle to avenge the past. On one hand, better to say, Chechens have betrayed their own country and fought on the Russian side. On the other hand, Chechens fighting for an independent state are facing each other in the middle of the Russian-Ukrainian war. Soldiers fighting on the Chechen battalion who have voluntarily joined the Ukrainian army say that the ultimate goal of their struggle is to liberate the Russian-occupied Republic of Chechnya. Russia's perceptions of itself as the heir to the Soviet Union and its policy of the oppression and occupation of the Soviet successor states has once again pitted the Chechens and the Russians against each other. So Chechen's leader Ramzan Kadyrov is an interesting figure in the equation. Kadyrov may feel more loyalty to Russia than the Russian citizens, and Kadyrov has criticized Vladimir Putin since the beginning of the war, and his criticism is indeed remarkably scandalous. Kadyrov accuses Putin of being too merciful and says that Russia should have been even more brutal in its invasion. Kadyrov often even advocates Russia's use of nuclear weapons against Ukraine and appears to be an ardent supporter of this invasion. Kadyrov's current desire is most likely motivated by the fear of losing his seat, and a significant part of Chechnya's population sees Ramzan Kadyrov as a traitor. This legitimacy of a leader who describes himself as Putin's foot soldier is constantly questioned by the public. Kadyrov knows that if Russia loses the war, it will be difficult for Putin to maintain his power, and he is very worried about this possibility. Putin's support is the main factor that keeps Kadyrov in power in Chechnya. Therefore, Ramzan Kadyrov is as eager as Putin for the war to end in favor for Russia. Chechen volunteer units fighting for the Ukraine are most likely behind the assassination attempt against the Chechen commander. It would not be surprising if they were held responsible for the letter delivered to Sedyev and labeled top secret. It is quite possible that a military curator serving in the Chechen headquarters is of a Chechen region. Therefore, it is possible that Chechens fighting for Ukraine attempted to infiltrate the Chechen army and succeeded. What's your opinion? Could another group be behind the assassination attempt on Sedyev, or are Chechens fighting for Ukraine definitely responsible? How do you think that the internal political dynamics in Chechnya affect Kadyrov's positions, and how does this reflect on the Russian-Ukrainian war? And how does the activity, where's the accent comes from, the activity of Chechen's volunteer units in the Russian army affect Russia's war strategy and morale? Let me know in the comments. You know that I read and I care a lot about all of your comments.